Hello, welcome to Kill the Stigma podcast. It's my first time doing this. I have no idea what I'm doing, but let's see. Let's see what happens. So, what inspired me to do this today? What inspired me to do this today was I saw an article by the thinkerspace.com and a few other people that decided that the belief in aliens and the belief in the whole UFO thing um, is dangerous. They were talking about Congress and misinformation. A lot of these people belong to SETI, which I kind of have a big problem with SETI. They, well, let's see. They, it's silly because you have all these phenomena that are going on here, and yet they're looking for signals in space. And they've been doing that for years, and they haven't found anything. They got the WOW signal in 1974, I believe, and that's it. That's it. After that, and they've been very hostile to the UAP issue. Why? I don't know. I'm not really sure what's going on there. It could be that a lot of these academics, people that are scientific, they are very rational. The word, and this is coming from a person like myself, that conspiracy theories were something that I thought were for the uneducated, right? People that were, I don't know, I don't want to say stupid because that's not the correct word, but people that had no life, and just uneducated people. That's what I thought. And the truth is that every now and then conspiracies do happen. And I did find that out with the UAP situation. And it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear. There's so much smoke. You know what they say? Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I don't know how SETI's going to handle this, but right now we got NASA looking into this. They're not being very transparent. We got the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. They're not being very transparent either. In fact, what happened was in 2017, three videos got leaked, and that was Lou Elizondo and Christopher Mellon to the Stars Academy. And that those videos were unclassified, but they got out in kind of a shady way. And then the New York Times article came out. So how did the Pentagon respond to that? Well, somebody in the Air Force, what they did was they classified UAP. They made a UAP classification guide when the UAP task force was born. And I apologize. I got a lot of learning to do with the computer. But hold on one second. So after that, here's how that they responded. They basically made UAPs so classified that they are exempt from disclosure in their entirety, unless the head of Aero or somebody wants to release a video. It's not going to happen. And let me read exactly. When you ask for an FOIA of, let's say, the Navy, they'll tell you, we got UAP. There was a case in 2022 where there was 12 videos, and an FOIA was issued probably by Greenwald and many others, and they got denied. And what it says, let me read this UAP classification guide. It's my first time. I swear I will learn how to put this on the screen. I will. But right now I'm reading this, and it says, the UAP task force has responded back to LB 8336 and have stated that the requested videos contain sensitive information pertaining to unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, and are classified exempt from disclosure in their entirety. Did you guys hear that? except from disclosure in their entirety. Under Exception 5, USC S552B1, in accordance with the Executive Order 13526 and the UAP security class, this is important, the UAP security classification guide. The release of this information will harm national security as it may provide adversaries with valuable information regarding Department of Defense and Navy operations, vulnerabilities, and capabilities. So anything UAP, it's classified and exempt from disclosure. And I can't ask questions. I'm just, I see people like David Grush. I see people like Lozando. I see people like Christopher Mellon. I see people like Carl Nell. I see Ryan Graves. I see David Fravor. I pay attention to a lot of stuff. I watch the documentary Skinwalker Ranch, and they're, you got Jay Stratton, Travis Taylor. They're finding a lot of interesting things there. And where's the academics? Why isn't SETI going there and debunking the heck out of this? That's what they should be doing. But you know what? Crickets. Nothing. So I feel like they're insulting my intelligence. I really, like what? Bury my head in the sand and just, not ask questions? Is that what they want? Because it seems pretty obvious that there's something going on here, and you don't have to look that far. I mean, Arrow did a report, and supposedly they were tasked to go back to 1945 to investigate the records, right? Everything the government has, and they did a terrible job. And then there came Christopher Mellon, and he destroyed this report that came from Arrow. He basically just stated the facts, pointed out all the mistakes. There's some highlights in here. For example, let's talk about Rendlesham Forest, 1980. Rendlesham Forest, really a famous case. Now, it was a UAP, there was a UFO over days, and, you had a lot of people involved. Those people, they suffered, some of them suffered radiation and other biological effects. And not only that, they were denied for a long time. They were denied benefits from the Air Force when they went to ask for help because, hey, man, like I'm getting sick and I think it's from this. They told John Burroughs, you were never in the Air Force. Like, what are you talking about? And then Senator McCain, thank God, they got lucky and Nick Pope helped with that. And they were able to find a document which said something about Rendlesham and radiation, and he was able to get his benefits. But you know what? He wasn't able to see his medical records. Why? Dude, imagine that you have cancer or whatever, and you're not allowed to see your records. That's your body, and you're telling me I can't see that? But nothing to see here. All right, SETI, let's talk about astronomy. Let's go back to 1952. Let's talk about UFO debunking for a little bit. UFO debunking, the first debunker, his name was Dr. Donald Mansell. He was an astronomer, and he was also more of a UFO debunker. And he was obsessed with debunking UFOs. And in 1952, there was a big flap in Washington. A lot of people know about that, the Washington flyovers over 2 consecutive weekends. So after this flyby, the sighting, Dr. Donald Mansell gets put as the director of Harvard Observatory right after. First thing he does when he takes that job is destroys 1/3 of astronomical plates. 1/3 of astronomical plates, and Harvard had the biggest collection of astronomical plates. Why? Why is the biggest UFO debunker destroying scientific data? And SETI, do you know about this? Because it's a fact now. They call it the Mansell gap. He also prevented future surveys. Why? What? First of all, 1952, think about this. What was up there in 1952? Sputnik wasn't around till 1957. So, I mean, we do hear rumors about the Black Knight satellite and UFOs. And in fact, there's this doctor who I'm a big fan of, Beatrice Royal. She was able to prove that there was some anomalies in 1952 around the same time when the Washington sightings happened. I guess Mansell, you missed those. Good try, but you missed. You missed. So think about this: the first UFO debunker. Why do I think it's important? Because when you build something, the foundation must be solid. If the foundation isn't solid, everything falls apart. So if you have a first UFO debunker that's compromised, let's not also forget that his name is in the Majestic 12 document, the MJ12 document, which is very controversial, but it's in there. It's another coincidence. And that, I don't know, I'm not going to get into that, but the fruits to those names are very interesting. But still, forget about that. Why would he destroy 1/3 of astronomical plates? You have, I remember there was this colleague of his. I think her name was Dorit. Oh my God, let me see here. I really apologize for this. Dorit. Well, I apologize, but you can go to Donald Mansell's Wikipedia page. I don't suggest Wikipedia for anybody. The guerrilla skeptics are there, and they are just putting misinformation. But they couldn't do that. They couldn't undo what happened with Mansell, because Donald Mansell is, it's a fact. What happened is a fact. They called the Mansell gap. And Dorit was upset because she's like, this is a crime to science. What are you doing? Why are you being so shady about it? Like, you didn't console anybody. You're destroying all this data. And it didn't go well for her. She got her funding cut. She was after that, she was very intimidated by Donald Mansell. And SETI, do you know about this? Tell me, because I just can't tell. This is a really big problem for me, a big concern, because me coming from a mind that I am not conspiracy minded, but now I see that there was a conspiracy. And you know what? I don't know what the UFO phenomenon represents. It might be for good. It might be that there's really people out there that really think that this shouldn't be out there because it wouldn't be good for humanity. I don't know, because I don't know the truth, right? But when SETI puts out a article like that, I feel like it's insulting my intelligence and many other people, and I hate when people insult my intelligence. I don't like that. Do you guys like that? All right, so now let's go. Okay, that's first debunker. He's a weak link. Okay, prevented future surveys. Last thing I'll say, until 1966. What happened in 1966? The Condom Committee started. And then it was what? So now I can retire. I'm at peace. Our Condom report was the biggest blow to ufology. And the 68, when it got completed, that was it for a long time, except it wasn't it. But in the public, it was. So it's just, how many coincidences do we need to open up our minds? Like, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because it's full of coincidences. You can't make this up. So I think that when I see articles like this, I don't know if it's conspiracy. I'm not really sure. I think academia has a real problem with studying things that they don't understand. They want to make sense of things. They don't want to be puzzled and like, what is this? And they want to stay in the status quo. But I think the reality now is it's obvious. All you got to do is a little bit research. Let's go back to February 2023. We had a Chinese balloon, and in that Chinese balloon, we were able to see it. No problem. But what about after? They adjusted the radars. Then we had 3 weird objects. I remember this. This weekend was crazy. First, the one in Alaska. Confusing reports. Pilots saw different things. Yeah, the radar was jammed, or I don't know. Things were weird. Then I think it was the one in Canada, size of a small car. We really didn't get many answers. The one in Lake Huron was octagon shaped. Lake Huron, by the way, and Canada and Alaska, huge hotspots for UAP. Octagon shaped size of a car. What the hell is that, man? I'm just trying to think. You guys, size of a car? Just standing there? Check this out. We saw everything with the Chinese balloon, but with these 3 objects, and I don't know what they are, they couldn't retrieve anything on 3, not one, on 3 of them. And then when we asked for data, national security. But John Kirby came out and said, the phenomena is worldwide. The phenomena is worldwide. It's been interrupting our military exercises, and that he said that. And even President Biden came out and said something about the UAP interagency office, and what we heard? We heard crickets on that, crickets. And he ran away from the podium, didn't answer any questions. Took days for him to face the public. I don't know if that's Mr. President, because you laughed it off last time they asked in 2021 when they said, hey, Obama talked about UFOs. Oh, you should go ask him. Mr. President, do you think it's funny now? Or did things get a little bit strange after that weekend? Because you did seem a little bit more stressed out, and you weren't really transparent to us. So we got all this going on. Then Chuck Schumer writes his legislation. Senate majority, most powerful senator right now in America, the UAP Disclosure Act. It mentions non-human intelligence over 20 times. It talks about the programs that they think they have this. They call out the Air Force Special Investigations, the CIA, the Department of Energy. I mean, everybody's in there, right? And they talked about a panel, kind of like the JFK panel, but 2 different issues. JFK and UFOs are completely different. And they wanted to declassify things after 25 years, which means we would have gotten Roswell. We got a lot of stuff. And then they had the eminent domain, which is it's very, I'm not going to get into it, but there's a lot of different, and I understand the people that are concerned about that. Because, let me just say this on the eminent domain. The last time in 2022, they did legislation with whistleblower protection. They tasked Arrow to do a historical report going back to the 40s. And I think it was 47, then 45. And you know what they did? They basically did the worst report, which I talked about earlier. Mellon criticized it very well. They did that, and they went after the Bigelow crew. They went after the people who've been pushing transparency. So some people are like, Brandon Fugel, Travis Taylor, Jay Strip, why are you guys doing it? Hold on. Listen. First of all, I love that show. And if you haven't watched that show, I'm not a sponsor for Skinwalker Ranch or nothing, but they got some interesting stuff in there. You can't make it up. You can't. Anyway, I'll stop on that. But if they went after the Bigelow crew, the people who were studying Skinwalker Ranch, why wouldn't they do it again? What are the powers of the people controlling the secrecy, the defense contractors, the CIA, all these people? What are they? What are their powers? Did you really? Is it possible? Is it possible that they really don't go after Area 51 or the DOE, the SAPs? This is what I've heard. SAPs, they got special access programs in NORAD, NASA, CIA, Air Force, special investigations, and you got the defense contractors. And these people are basically the most powerful people in America. And they're just going to give it away. Yeah, the government's going to come. So, see, I understand or they can go after they can do the same thing, go after Brandon Fugel, because to think about it, Brandon Fugel is a lot of people watch that show. It's number one on History Channel right now. And if there's a threat to disclosure, that would be kind of a threat. And people, the government can take the government, they can do whatever they want. It's the government. Let me just say that Brandon Fugel is a billionaire, and I don't think it would be that easy for them to do that to him. I just don't. He's got billions of dollars. Now, if you do put something that says anything doing with UAP or non-human intelligence, we can come in, that would make it easier for the government. And apparently there's all speculations of what stuff that they're finding there. So I understand him, but I do want that legislation to pass, and I do want the 9 panel. I do. And honestly, I'm not even that hopeful getting disclosure for the government, but I do have to try mostly because of the people that have suffered. And I'm not talking about David. I actually am talking about David Grush, Luis Salas. I'm talking about all of those people. But not only that, let's go back in history. Why don't we go back to the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, Donald Kehoe, all the pilots, the Japanese pilot in 1986 that had this huge flying saucer, they took his wings off, man. You think he picked that experience? No, he did not. So that's a double trauma right there. And I want to do it for all those people. I want the truth to get out. Whether I think it's going to happen from the government, I'm skeptical, but we got to try, right? We got to try. We got to call it Congress. We got to call the Senate. And we need to make an effort for truth. This was just one of my biggest values, truth. So I think we should always try. But the thing is, at this point, the dam is breaking. The question is, where are we going? Because to me, the future of this is very unpredictable. And I don't know if it's for the best or for worse or the better. All I know is that I want truth. It's kind of like, let's say you have a wife and she's cheating on you. Do you want to know? Hell yeah, I want to know. And then you're like, damn, I don't know. Somebody else said that, I don't know where in a podcast, but that analogy made sense. And I don't know what the truth is. Like I said, maybe it's good, bad. I don't know. But I'm a believer in truth. If you have cancer, I want to know about it. I don't want my doctor to tell me that I don't have cancer. So, yeah, I was very disappointed in that article. And I don't know how people are going to take it. I think it's a very slow growing momentum, right? The problem is that people have to pay bills, they have a life, and this is a rabbit hole. Once you get into it, you can get sucked in, and you got to be careful. You got to be careful what rabbit holes you go down to. You got to try to stay sane, and if you catch yourself like getting to a little crazy, then you got to back off. So, yeah, it's an interesting topic, and I love talking about this, and I hope I can do a better job soon. I hope I will learn how to edit. I will learn how to use this YouTube thing. I like the name of my show, Kill the Stigma, because that's, for me, what I hated was the stigma, because a lot of people have suffered because they've been looked to look crazy, and they never were crazy. That's sad, man. It's just so sad, that they go through a traumatic experience and then people think they're crazy. Like, yeah, it's just so I want people to feel comfortable and talking about their experiences with people they trust. I want people to be able to go to a doctor or psychiatrist and be like, hey, I'm going through this. And maybe not be like, you're schizophrenic. You know what I mean? No, let's Let's help these people. Let's try to figure this out, but let's be very careful on what we endorse, what we, we just got to be careful. And one thing that I really hate is the drama, the UFO drama. I hate it. The UFO Twitter drama. I try to get along with everybody. I really don't like talking about drama. To me, it's so silly, and I honestly think we could have had this. We might have had disclosure already if it wasn't for us acting like we're in seventh grade. You know, and there's a lot of that out there, and it's pathetic. It's sad. If I have a problem with somebody, I wish I could just DM them, keep it private, figure it out. But no, you got people on Twitter posting their DMs and ratting people. Oh my god, it's a disaster, man. It's a disaster, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help. And if we want to move forward, we need to change some behaviors, and we need to change that. And I know that's not going to be. I don't know if that's going to happen. You got like. I'm not going to get into the drama, but I do think it's not good for the topic. If you want truth to get out and you're, causing all sorts of drama and attacking people and all this, no, man, that's not the way to go about it. It's just not, I don't know. I don't get into it, so I don't know what the details are, but I wish we could mature a little bit, and I think it would go a long way. So let me see. What else do I want to talk about? All right. So there's a lot of smoke. I just explained that SETI. I feel bad. Sorry, SETI. I wish I could have a debate with these people, man. I just wish I could have a debate, because what's evidence? Oh, there's no evidence. What? There's no evidence? Okay, I don't know if there's evidence of aliens, but there's definitely evidence of a cover-up going back to the 40s. Okay, one more thing, little history. 1947, national security state. The National Security Act passes, right? The CIA is born, and NICAP was. Well, I think NICAP was the first UFO. It's like a. They were investigating UFOs. And you know who created that? Who helped? Roscoe Hillenkotter, first director of the CIA. What was he doing there? Why? Why is nobody talking about that? The head of the CIA was helping create NICAP, and nobody talks about it. Oh, by the way, another coincidence. His name is also an MJ-12. Sorry, had to go back to that, because I just can't ignore these things. I'm done ignoring coincidence. I'm done ignoring coincidences. There's just too many of them. So Roscoe Hillenkotter helped create NICAP, and then then he kind of screwed Don McKeough over. They were buddies from way back in the day, and there's just been the Robertson panel, a lot of things, but you cannot do a Condon 2.0 in 2024, because we have X, Twitter X, whatever. We have phones. We have there's just no way you can do it. I feel so bad for the people that have this job, like Kirkpatrick, trying to debunk you. It's not gonna work. You just can't. You have documentaries out there like Skinwalker Ranch. Look, I don't watch I watch James Fox documentaries, Leslie Kean's The UFOs Investigating the Unknown, and I watch Skinwalker Ranch. Why do I? And Beyond Skinwalker Ranch. I'll tell you why. Because it's not stories. It's like these guys have equipment. Like, I'm talking about money, and they're investigating this phenomena, and they find some juicy stuff. And I get more than that. I get way more than that TV show than what I get in an Arrow report. That's like all BS, throwing cold water on the subject. So, yeah, I enjoy that show. For people that complain about evidence, I mean, I think it's great. I think that's a good avenue to go. Another avenue to go, there's Look, another example. I was very skeptical about crop circles, and I know a lot of them are man-made. But I saw this episode on the Y-Files. I'm sorry for going all over the place. I'm just talking about evidence, and this reminded me of the crop circle thing that I mentioned. Is because SETI, Carl Sagan, sent uh, he sent some whatever. Oh my god, I'm losing my words. Transmission to space. And it was about humans, right, and about DNA and all that. And then they got an answer. Like I don't remember how many years later. It's called the Arecibo answer. Which I'm from Puerto Rico, so I kind of Arecibo Observatory. And it was a crop circle. And there's just some things you can't debunk because they're just so perfectly aligned. And Seti, what do you say to that? What did you say? It's a hoax? Did you go look at it? What's going on? Like, why wouldn't you be excited that this could be real? And why aren't you out there debunking people like Brandon Fugels and walk around? Go out there and debunk it. Just go be like, you know what? I'll challenge you. That next season, I will be there to prove this is all BS. Crickets. It's freaking crickets, man. And then you have the NASA panel. Anyway, Jim Samivan told Whitley Strieber, and this is behind a paywall. I paid to see. I'm a big fan of Jim Samivan. I know he's CIA, and I know that he can't say a lot of stuff, but I do think he's got good intentions. And he said, NASA wishes they can tell you the truth, but they can't. Why? He then hinted as a SAP, which takes us back to another member of the MJ. I can't. It's just too many coincidences. Dr. Vannevar Bush, right? I don't want to keep going too much because I think I've said a lot. It's my first time doing this. I'm kind of all over the place, so I apologize. I got a lot of learning to do, but I want to start doing this a lot more frequently. I just want to put my thoughts out there because I think there's a lot of nonsense, and I think we're in a time where the toothpaste isn't going back in the tube. It's just not. And now you got Lou Elizondo. I showed a buddy of mine the clips from CNN, NBC. I don't talk to UFOs to my friends unless it comes up. Guess what? It came up, and I showed him the Lou Elizondo clip, CNN, NBC. And he's like, dude, why aren't they laughing at this guy? Because he's legit, man. And then I kind of I didn't want to overload him too much because this information can be pretty intense and you don't want to scare people away or make them uncomfortable. So I said, once I mentioned the Schumer app, which he's a Democrat, he obviously knows who the Senate majority is. He was kind of blown away, and I stopped because I don't, you don't want to force it too much. This is a lot of information, but what do you want? You want to live in the Matrix? You want to take the blue pill or the red pill? I'd rather just take the red pill, man. I want the truth. I don't want some live in a fantasy, and if there's things out here doing reconnaissance over humanity, we need to ask why. And what is their game and what's going on? And people say benevolent, malevolent, neutral. Maybe it's all the above. Maybe there's a lot of things, Maybe there's so many explanations, but I don't get hung up on benevolent, malevolent. I'm more of I think it's all the above. I think there's good things out here, and I also think there's a part of the phenomenon that's very reflective, and you need to be careful. Now, I am also very skeptical of just opening up and just I treat it with caution. I want to say a couple more things. There's a lot of people that I think that are important in this conversation. I like Christian Harloff. I like Pavel from Psicoactivo podcast. I like Patrick from Vetted. I like, is it Cliff or Clint from Night Shift? That UFO podcast. I'm going to forget some if I continue to name people. But there's a lot of people out there that are good voices, and you should listen to them. I do want to respond to something of Patrick vetted if he ever sees this, because Patrick, I like Patrick. He's a skeptic, but a good skeptic, and I like his personality. And he's I think he said something like, "I want to know who's messing up the information here because I'm not convinced that they're here." And I was like, kind of thinking, I mean, have you? Because there's so much information going back to the 40s, like that something is going on, right? Like who would be and what would be the purpose? What would be the purpose of making all this up? And then you have how many experiencers that you can talk to them and they seem a lot of them seem traumatized, and a lot of them are doing really well. But whatever they're experiencing is real. So you got thousands of those, maybe more. Then you got all these sightings of weird things that look different. Then you got the cover up, the part where the government doesn't want you to know. And then you got people sacrificing their careers like Lou Elizondo and David Grush under oath. Okay, under oath. Then you got the stories. And then you have the shows, like I said, that a lot of people don't watch, Skinwalker Ranch, where they're picking up stuff all the time there. And I'm wondering, I mean, you know, I wonder, okay, because Patrick, I'm a fan of yours. I don't know if you ever see this, but like, what would convince you? And I know, dude, I'm not about that C5 life either. I wouldn't do that. But yeah, I wonder what your theory is on who could be doing that and what would be their job. Because what I've learned is the people that don't want this out, what they do is they give you this information. I'll tell you a little secret about this information. The best disinformation is when you hear Rick Doty say 20% truth, 80% bullshit. Well, the best disinformation is when it's more true than BS. You put a little BS there, but you make it so controversial that no one would believe it. Let's take Stephen Greer. Stephen Greer gets shepherded. I don't want to say this guy's name, but by people in the CIA, they shepherd him, and he attacks Willis under this information agent. You know why? Because Stephen Greer makes the most outrageous. I mean, he's talking about all benevolent UFOs. He's talking about all of these are the contractors. This is, of course, and he's got a huge following. So if you're somebody in the CIA that doesn't want this to get out, this guy would be perfect because no one's going to take him seriously except his followers, right? Keep it controversial. MJ12 might have been disinformation, but it might be 95% true and 5% BS. You know, I don't know, but that's the best disinformation. And there's so much smoke. And here's the thing. This is your money, our tax dollars that are being used for this. And there's been crimes committed to keep this secret. God knows how many. There's been lives hurt. People have lost their careers. People have lost their lives. People have suffered. People have been made to look crazy. I don't like that. As an American, I don't like that at all. And I think there's a lot of evidence for that. Oh, one last show that I forgot to give a shout out is UFO Jesus, Post Disclosure World. He's one of my favorites. He's great. And yeah, guys, listen. I apologize for my everything. It's my first video. I needed to learn how to do a lot of things. I didn't even. Just give me some time. Be patient. I'll get better at it. Thank you. Have a good day. Poco to.